I don't know how to start this, but I'll try. My brother was in film club where we were in high school, and after lots of begging from him, I became a member as well. We were assigned once to make an animation. When we came home that day, my brother was acting strange and said in a low voice that he needed to get started on his animation immediately. He went to his room without a further conversation. He just stayed in his room almost the entire week, only leaving to use the bathroom, eat, and go to school. I was worried, and so were our parents, but we decided to leave him alone. I still wonder why to this day we decided to do that. About 3 or 4 days before the animations was due, he was finished. I asked to see it, but he said no, even when I offered to let him see mine. But he said it was a surprise for everyone in film club, and then he smiled at me. It was the creepiest smile I've ever seen. Then that day came of the animations were due where it eventually came. There were about 6 kids in the film club, including my brother and me, and since we were asked by the club director to do so, each of us brought one friend. My brother asked to go last, saying that his was too long to show at the beginning. Though lots of the animations were funny, and a few were abstract, my brother's animation was finally presented, and I was quivering with excitement and anticipation. The animation started off with static while it cleared to a white screen. Everyone inched closer, seeing that it was the best. Obviously, it was saved for last. Boy, were they wrong. The white faded to something faintly I recognized. It was a screenshot of an opening title card from Little Bear. Little Bear was a show we used to watch when we were kids. The title appeared, which read, in a very crude handwriting, Little Bear and the Big Red Book. The animation stayed like that in the normal Little Bear episode, and Little Bear was out in the yard playing fisherman. Then that's when he stopped and then wondered if Father Bear would like to go fishing the next day. He ran inside to ask. Father Bear was sitting at the table with the big red book right in front of him. Father Bear looked very sad and somewhat angry. Little Bear did not notice and asked Father Bear if they could go fishing tomorrow. Father Bear gave no response, but stood up and walked out of the house without a word. Little Bear looked disappointed for a second. He then climbed into Father Bear's chair and began to read the big red book. A voice that wasn't Little Bear's or anyone's in the shows for that matter started reading disturbing poems, such as the voice reads on. Little Bear became more and more depressed looking. Everyone looked like the book except the book began fading in grayscale. The voice then got more and more high-pitched. The club director tried to turn off the projector, but it wouldn't turn off. Suddenly everything stopped and then cut to Mother Bear tucking Little Bear into bed. Little Bear looked extremely shocked with a faint, blank expression. He then was staring at the screen, as if they were watching him. His eyes were extremely bloodshot and his fur was all mangled, and the whole scene, except for Mother Bear and Little Bear, was drawn in great detail, like an oil painting. Mother Bear there turned off the light and left the room. Little Bear started to sing slowly in his room, increased the darkness. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. A pair of red eyes appear above Little Bear, and a terrifying laugh played. What looked like some monstrosity of a creature jumped onto Little Bear. The entire screen cut to a montage of different scenes with running water appeared. A little boy's voice, joined by Little Bear's, was singing the same song Little Bear was singing, but without the added lyrics. Bring back my Bonnie. Bring back my Bonnie. Bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back my Bonnie. Bring back my Bonnie. Bring back my Bonnie to me. Then it faded to a picture of me when I was a child, standing to my next mom's grave with my mother's name on it. A picture of her was attached to the gravestone. Just so you know, my mother is still alive very much to this day. Then the screen cut to black. The projector finally turned off, and that was the end of it. Everyone was shocked, and the club director asked everyone to leave except for my brother. My best friend and I went to my house to discuss about the movie. I don't even know where he got that picture of me standing next to my mom's grave, I told him. He then looked at me confused. No, he said, that picture was of me standing to my mom's grave. We were both freaked out, and we asked my friend's parents if we could spend the night, which they said yes. We spent the rest of the night talking about the movie. The next was Saturday, and my mother told us that my brother was arrested. The Monday we came back to school, we found out in assembly that 4 other kids in film club and 5 other kids that were visiting had taken their own life after killing their mothers. The film director quit his job and never returned to class. When I came home the next day, I found out that my brother was in prison for a life sentence of 18 accounts for murder and 1 account for public disturbance. He will never be released, and there's no possibility of parole. I decided to keep this secret for long, but now I'm afraid. I just needed to tell someone. Somebody somehow found my brother's animation and put it on the internet on a file sharing website under the title Little Bear and the Big Red Book. Never seen episode. It's some sick hope that it will traumatize little children. I have contacted the website and asked the administrators to take it down, and I'm currently still waiting for their reply. Thank you for taking your time to read this. And that, my little pretties, was Little Bear and the Big Red Book, a Little Bear Lost episode creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story? Well, to be completely honest, I actually really found this story to be a pretty good story. Although there are some things that I would have to say about this, but before I say this about this this pasta, I'm gonna sit here and say that I've heard of this story many times, on Shadow's channel, back on his old channel before it was terminated, and I have seen a lot of animators people sat there and actually narrated this story. Like, a lot of people have narrated it. I know a few people who have sat there and narrated the story. I actually found this story to be a pretty messed up creepypasta in my opinion. Like, this is actually a very believable creepypasta on Little Bear. Now, another thing I could definitely say that I really found this one to be rather enjoyable was the fact that it wasn't, cliche all over the place. Well, except for the blood eyes, but was written before, this was probably most likely written before, I guess you could say this was probably written before cliches became a problem. But I definitely have to say that this story actually provided a lot of great concept to it. It actually was amazing. I definitely really like how this went out. It actually provided a very good concept with the whole story itself. I actually have to say, I definitely really find that this pasta was actually pretty good. Now, I could definitely say that this story actually provided a good detail. It was awesome. Really do think that this story actually had a very good, explanation, had a really good going for. Now, if there is a few things that I did have problems with, so one of them being one thing that I really kind of want to ask is this. Now, one thing I could definitely say that kind of, that kind of, made me wonder at the same time was this. Mostly because, the fact that, the brother got arrested afterwards for showing the animation, there was, no explanation as to why that was the case. Well, I know there could have been a better explanation to why they ended up arresting the brother for, the stuff that he shown at school. And another thing is, how would it affect everyone in film club and even people that they were friends with, kill their own mothers and ended up, taking their own life? Why would that be the case? There's absolutely no reason to sit there and include that in. If that wasn't included in the story, then the story would get, somewhat of a higher rating. But, it's not a terrible story, I'm not gonna lie. It's not a terrible story. There were just a few issues that needed to be addressed. Now, if the stuff that I said that I didn't really care for wasn't included in the story would be somewhat understandable, believable, and it would actually be a lot better. At least that is to me, though. I don't know if it is to you guys, but I'm sure you guys might be able to agree with me on this. But even if you don't, I'm not going to force you guys to agree with me. I'm not. So, I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, yeah. This story was a pretty good pasta for what it is. Although the fact that the brother ended up getting, arrested kind of didn't really fit in that well with the story. It didn't really fit in. Like, if that wasn't, included in it, along with, well, the people ending their own lives after killing their own mothers, that just, I don't think that was necessary in the pasta. But if those were not included in it, then the story would have been honestly a lot better. A lot of people would have been a lot better. So I definitely have to say that this story, it was not terrible. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a terrible movie. Well, it's not a terrible concept. It's just, there was just some things that I wasn't really, a big fan of. So, yeah. If the things that I discussed that I didn't really like about this story were not included in this, then maybe the pasta would be slightly somewhat better. But unfortunately, it just wasn't, um, I'm unfortunately it just wasn't, no there. At least to me that is. Not trying to sound like a hypocrite or anything, but yeah. But anything with that being the case, with that being said, yeah. Anyways, this story was obviously interesting. It had a pretty good concept going for it. It actually was played out well and actually was well, I really liked it. So, anyways, with that being said, with those two issues, this was actually a pretty good story. So, anyways, with that being the case, with that being said, I'm gonna. This is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. Now, my final rating of the story, I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good story. It's a pretty good concept. It had a really lot going for. It actually was interesting, really well made in detail. It's a pretty good pasta, but yeah, I really thought this pasta was enjoyable. So, anyways, with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys think about this curry pasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so that you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm